Hello, I'm Linda Stevens. I never imagined that one ordinary Saturday morning could change my life so profoundly. I'm 48 years old, a high school English teacher in a quiet Midwestern town, and I've always prided myself on being a rational person. I was raised in a loving, faith-filled home, and although I still believed in God, life's busyness had dimmed that connection over the years. I used to attend church on holidays and only whispered a prayer when I was in trouble. But one fateful morning in June 2017, everything changed. I was out for my regular early jog on a crisp Saturday morning. The sun was just beginning to rise, casting soft golden light over the familiar paths of our town park. I laced up my sneakers and stepped outside with the hope of clearing my mind and preparing for the day ahead. As I made my way along a well-worn trail near the river, a sudden, unexpected pain seized my chest. It felt like an overwhelming pressure, a crushing weight I'd never experienced before. In an instant, I stumbled, clutching at my heart, and then the world went completely black. When I came to, I found myself witnessing an experience that defied all logic. I remember floating above the ground, looking down at my motionless body from a distance. I could see a concerned neighbor rushing over, dialing 911, his face etched with panic and worry. Strangely enough, despite the chaos unfolding below, I felt nothing but a profound calm. It was as if I was encased in a bubble of serene protection. As I hovered there, I watched paramedics arrive, their voices urgent as they tried to resuscitate me. I observed every detail, the frantic calls for help, the coordinated actions, and even the precise moments when chest compressions were applied. I knew this was my body, yet I wasn't in it anymore. My spirit, or whatever it was that now observed, was detached from the physical, free from pain or fear. Then, in the midst of all this, I saw a light. Not just any light, but one that radiated warmth and love. A light that seemed to beckon me closer with gentle, inviting energy. I felt drawn to it, and as I moved toward the brilliance, I found myself entering what I can only describe as a tunnel. This tunnel was not dark or frightening. Instead, it shimmered with an array of soft, shifting colors that danced along its walls. It was as if the very air was humming with a silent, comforting melody, a song that touched me deep in my soul. At the end of this luminous passage, I stepped into a place so breathtaking that I struggled to find words for it. I was in a garden, more vibrant and alive than anything I had ever seen. The flowers glowed from within, each petal and leaf vibrant with life, and the air was perfumed with a scent so pure it filled me with overwhelming joy. It was a place of peace, a sanctuary that felt as if it was crafted especially for those in search of solace and understanding. I wasn't alone in that garden for long. Soon, I recognized a familiar figure walking toward me, my late Aunt Margaret, who had passed away nearly a decade earlier. She looked as radiant and youthful as I remembered her, her eyes full of love and kindness. When she embraced me, it was like being wrapped in a warm, reassuring blanket. "Linda," she said softly, "it's not your time to stay here. There's something very important you need to see." Taking my hand, she guided me further into this extraordinary realm. A few steps away, she led me to what she called the third realm. In all the years I'd known of heaven and hell, I'd never encountered anything like it. This new space was both vast and intimate, a kind of waiting room for the soul, a place where we come right after leaving the physical world. My aunt explained that this third realm was where souls rest, reflect, and prepare for what comes next. It was a transitional space, meant for healing and growth. I soon discovered that this realm was divided into different areas, each with its own purpose. The first area I encountered was a place of pure joy and serenity. Souls here seemed to glow with an inner light, their faces serene and content. They were surrounded by endless meadows, gentle streams, and trees that seemed to whisper ancient secrets of hope and renewal. It became clear that these souls were people who had led lives filled with love, kindness, and generosity, even if they were not perfect. Their radiance filled the space, and I couldn't help but feel an overwhelming sense of gratitude and peace. My aunt then guided me to a quieter, more reflective section of the realm, a place she referred to as the learning zone. Here, souls sat with quiet determination, engaged in deep conversations with beings of light. I recognized a dear friend from my youth who had passed away after a long battle with illness. She was there, speaking softly with a luminous guide who seemed to be helping her understand and forgive the regrets she had carried for so long. The guide's gentle presence was comforting, offering assurance that even the struggles of earthly life were stepping stones toward a greater love and understanding. It was a place where every soul was given the chance to learn and grow, to confront past mistakes, and to find the peace that had eluded them in life. Not all parts of the third realm were as serene. My aunt then led me to a more shadowed area, a space filled with heavy, somber energy. This was not a place of punishment, but rather one of reflection, a space where souls who had lived lives marked by selfishness, anger, or deep regret came to confront the consequences of their choices. I saw a distant cousin, someone who had struggled mightily with addiction and poor decisions, sitting quietly as if weighed down by an invisible burden. Even in that heaviness, however, there was hope. Angels moved among these souls, their hands outstretched in silent encouragement, offering each person the chance to choose light over darkness. My aunt gently explained that redemption was never out of reach. Even in the deepest despair, love was available for those willing to seek it. Just when I thought I had seen the full spectrum of this realm, a presence more powerful than any other filled the space. It was Jesus. His appearance transformed everything around me, as if the very atmosphere shifted to embrace a profound love and warmth. I recall looking into his eyes and feeling as if every secret, every regret, every hope was laid bare before him. Yet, instead of judgment, I felt nothing but unconditional love and acceptance. He told me, "Linda, what you are witnessing is but a glimpse of eternity. Your time here is brief, but the message you carry is eternal." Jesus spoke in simple yet powerful words that resonated deeply with my soul. He explained that life is not just a series of moments or accomplishments. It's a journey of growth in love, faith, and kindness. Every small act, whether it's a word of forgiveness, a gesture of kindness, or a moment spent in prayer, sends ripples that echo into eternity. I was shown a breathtaking view of Earth from above, a perspective where I could see countless souls, each glowing to varying degrees. The ones who had lived in love and compassion shone brightly, while others, weighed down by sorrow or bitterness, glimmered faintly. Jesus told me that this light was a reflection of his presence within each person, and that every day offered the chance to nurture that inner light. As the moments passed, I was guided back to the learning zone. Here, souls continued to work through their earthly regrets and challenges with the help of angelic guides. I saw individuals who had experienced profound loss, those who had struggled against overwhelming odds, and yet, despite all the hardships, their spirits were learning to embrace forgiveness, acceptance, and hope. Jesus emphasized that even in suffering, there is a deeper meaning, a lesson in resilience and compassion. He reminded me that every trial on earth, every hardship endured with faith, builds the foundation for a richer, more meaningful eternity. It was then that Jesus turned to me, his voice gentle but insistent. "Linda, I need you to go back. There is a message in your heart that the world needs to hear. Tell people that their lives matter. Their choices shape not only their own destiny, but the very fabric of eternity." I remember feeling a mixture of awe and determination, knowing that the experience I had just witnessed was meant to transform not only my life, but also the lives of others. Before I knew it, the surroundings began to fade. The radiant light that had guided me now began to dim, and I felt myself being gently pulled back toward my body. In a blink, I was back in the midst of chaos. A team of paramedics working frantically, the beeping of machines, and the urgent calls over the radio. They had managed to revive me using a defibrillator, and I soon found myself being loaded into an ambulance. I later learned that I had been clinically dead for more than 5 minutes, a fact that amazed the doctors, as I had shown no signs of brain damage or lasting physical harm. Waking up in the hospital, I realized that I had been given a second chance. I knew deep in my heart that this was not a medical miracle but part of a divine plan. God had returned me to life with a purpose, to share what I had seen, to remind others that love, redemption, and eternal hope are always within reach. Returning to my classroom, I found that nothing was quite the same. Every day when I looked at my students, my colleagues, or even strangers passing by on the street, I saw far more than just ordinary people. I saw souls, each with a light that could shine brilliantly or fade into the shadows depending on the choices made every day. I began to speak openly about my experience, not in grand, abstract terms, but in simple words filled with passion and personal truth. I wanted everyone to understand that the afterlife is not just a distant idea. It's a reality that can inspire us to live better lives here and now. I understand that many of you might be skeptical. I know that such a story sounds almost too miraculous to be true. Yet, every time I share my experience, I hear from others, people who tell me that something deep has been stirred within them. Some say they've begun to see beauty in everyday moments, while others find themselves praying more earnestly or showing unexpected kindness to someone in need. These small changes, I believe, are the echoes of that extraordinary day in June, a reminder that every moment offers a chance to grow closer to God. Jesus' message to me was clear. No one is ever beyond redemption. Every soul, even in its darkest hour, can choose the light. I gave everything for humanity's salvation, but every person must choose to accept that love. That message has stayed with me, echoing in my heart every single day. Whether I'm in the classroom discussing literature or in quiet moments of reflection, I am reminded that every decision matters. The love we share, the forgiveness we extend, and even the smallest acts of kindness have eternal significance.